Hey everyone, welcome to Bamf. This morning, you have me, Alice Pang, aka Loud Twiddle on the boards, as your hostess. Mike got called into work last second. And with me today, we're going to be playing Modest Medusa. We're going to be, with me today is going to be the Jake Richmond, creator of Modest Medusa, and his business partner, Nick Smith.
Hello,
And
hello.
Nick Smith will be our GM, and Brandon Powers is here as usual, and Nick Garber is here as our new regular. Um, I am
I'm
not
no longer a
coherent.
guest star. I'm a reoccurring character. This is awesome.
Yes, you're a reoccurring character.
I've made it.
Unfortunately, apparently, I'm not quite coherent yet. I need to drink more tea. Um, but we are going to be playing a family-friendly game called Modest Medusa, and this game also has a comic book, which I'll let Jake talk to you about. But the premise of it is, for this RPG, is that it's a game that you can play with your kids. And we know lots of people who have young kids and want to get them into gaming, right? So you take them into a land that is a mixture of Narnia and Final Fantasy, and you get to play with them. Sounds awesome, right? So we thought we'd give it a shot ourselves.
Hell yeah.
Um,
I mean, heck
so
yeah.
so, Jake, if you want to tell our viewers really quick about the comic book and the story and such like that, and then we can throw it over to Nick.
I'd love to. I started my comic, Modest Medusa, about 8 years ago. It's about a little girl monster who's just 5 years old who finds her way from a magical land called Yeld right into our world. And she meets a family and she gets to know them. And they teach her about playing Pokemon and eating junk food. And she loves it so much she never wants to go home. Now, our game, which is set in the same universe, is called The Magical Land of Yeld. And it is about children from our world who find a magical door that leads back to Medusa's magical land. And they travel through the door to have adventures, but they eventually get stuck there and they have to take on the role of heroes and defeat an evil prince in order to make their way home so they can be with their families again. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be discovering that door and taking our first steps into adventure. And I think Nick can tell you all about that.
Well, quick question for you. The doorway that the Medusa comes through, what kind of doorway is that?
Yes, that's a.
I might know the answer to this.
So might I.
Okay, so in Modest Medusa, little Medusa, and her name is Modest. That's her first name. She discovers she swims down into a lake and comes out in a toilet in our world. She swims right up a pipe into this toilet, kind of Super Mario Brothers style. And when she comes bursting out, it causes so much damage that she floods this poor guy's bedroom and destroys his home. And then it's after that he decides to take her in. So early in the comic, she's this little toilet monster that sleeps in a toilet and gets really upset when people, use the toilet and stuff like that. It's a little gross.
I thought that was
gross,
necessary to share with everybody.
It's a little gross, but it does match up with, something that you read your kids and such.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we're really into that kind of humor. We are 8 and 9-year-olds at heart.
Well, you match up pretty well with a few of the Bamf crews. Sadly, not everyone could show up today, but the table would be too big anyway. So, well then. Mr. GM, Nick, would you like to take us away?
I most certainly would. Yeah, let's play some Magical Land of Yeld.
Okay, great.
So let's start out here. So you are a group of kids. It is a beautiful summer day. You've all just enjoyed 2 weeks at a summer camp where you got to know each other and made some new friends, including your friend Cindy, who spent 2 weeks telling you guys that there is a magical door in her backyard that leads to a strange land with talking animals. She spent 2 weeks explaining this to everybody at camp. Nobody believed her, but you guys are the ones who managed to make friends with her. And now that the camp is over, she's invited you all over for a sleepover for the weekend. And so all of you are on your way over to her house for the first time to enjoy supposedly this magical place that she's found and that only she has access to.
Well, this is the first time that I'd be going to a sleepover outside of a camp, so Sassy has to come with me so I don't get scared. I feel better when Sassy's holding my hand.
Yeah, your parents have all dropped you off. You're all at the front door of Cindy's house. It's a pretty average house in a pretty average neighborhood in a pretty average town. Nothing special, but you guys are getting excited as you draw closer. all of you end up getting dropped off all at once, and so you all meet up at the door and can say your hellos because it's been a couple days since you've seen each other.
Out of character, they're not flushing us down a toilet, right? This door looks different.
Hey, Alice, what's your character's name?
Ella.
Ella.
Uh-huh.
And what other characters? Sassy is the dog.
Yep.
And
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for you guys to go ahead and tell us your name, tell us what your friend type is, maybe your age as well.
I'll go ahead and start. My name is Mary. I am a 9-year-old girl. I'm a brat, so I'm kind of a pain in the butt.
All right.
Hi, Sassy, upon seeing other small two-legged flesh bags, runs over and begins to jump and lick them.
Aw, a dog, a cute dog. Hello. Oh, you're kind of licky. Oh. Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
Sassy goes everywhere I go. I'm Ella. I'm 8 years old, and I wear pretty dresses everywhere.
Oh. And fish bag.
Fish bag. Hey, how's it going? I'm Preston. I'm 11 years old. Trust me.
I trust you.
Preston's my big brother.
Do you have the fawn's hair? Come on, tell
No,
me.
I got some like hipster bang thing going on, but I got like this distinct scar on the right side of my cheek. And I'm going to be playing around with my pocket knife. I click it open, not all the way, just pop it up and then pop it down, pop it up, pop it down. I have a nervous tick.
Okay.
Is it really a comb?
No, it says pocket knife. And apparently I fight dirty, which is accurate.
Oh, trust me, you'll be needing those later.
Awesome.
Yeah. Ooh, and I'm a thief. Great.
All right, awesome. So as you all converge at the front door, the door opens to an older lady. She looks at all of you and she says, "Oh, you must be Cindy's friends. Are you here for the sleepover?"
Are you Cindy's mom?
I mean, of course I'm Cindy's mom. You can call me Barbara.
Hi, Miss Barbara.
It looks like you guys brought a dog too. Well, I guess that's okay.
I picked
cool if we call you Babs?
Sassy up. Sassy's my friend.
I would hope so. I wouldn't want you guys, bringing a stray dog into my house. That would be unfortunate, but also not the first time.
I've never met this dog before, but it seems okay to me.
Oh, okay. Well, come on in. Cindy's in the backyard. She's been out there for a couple hours. We have a nice big backyard, so you might have to hunt her down and find her out there.
Oh.
Thank
Jeez.
you. Thank you, Miss Barbara.
You're very welcome. She leads you into the house. You guys walk through the living room, through their kitchen, and then through a sliding glass door into their backyard. It's a nice, large backyard. It looks like it's a couple acres, lots of trees, lots of bushes, some playground equipment, a large shed, and lots of room to play.
Wow, I didn't know that Cindy was rich.
Barbara chuckles and she says, "All right, well, I'll be upstairs watching my shows. So you guys have fun today." And she takes off.
Goodbye.
Bye. All I have is a dirt lot with a tire swing and a tree that looks like it's about to fall over.
That's my tree.
I know, it's my tire.
Yeah, we have to share. Mom says we have to share.
Mom doesn't know what she's talking about.
Don't you shut up. Cindy.
Choked on my.
Where are you, Cindy?
Yeah, you guys yell out, and you don't hear anything at first. Sassafras, you start picking up on a scent of another kid, and maybe some sort of animal. You're not sure. It's
Sure,
just a new smell.
I'm in a backyard. I'm going to start running, exploring, and if I've got a smell, I'm going to start smelling for it.
Oh yeah,
And following it.
yeah. You do your several laps as dogs do, and it doesn't take you long to start finding candy wrappers, little pieces of candy melted inside of them, and they seem to be leading farther and farther into the backyard.
Okay. I follow candy.
I'm going to follow the dog. Anywhere a dog's going is going to be cool.
I'm running after Sassy. I can't. I need to be with Sassy. So
Hey,
I'm running
yeah,
after Sassy.
Ella, you see that your dog's picking at some candy wrappers that look like they have some chocolate left over on them. And
I start picking the chocolate up, and wrap it back up.
What is that? Is that chocolate? Is that candy? Is Cindy hiding from us and eating all the candy?
I think she is. I think she's eating all the candy. We better find her before she does.
That's rude.
Yeah. Cindy, you jerk. Share your candy with us. Where are you?
Well, I feel like you guys are going to need to make a roll to see if you can successfully follow this trail of candy to find her.
How do we make a roll?
That's right. So what we're going to do is that this is a challenge, is what we call this. And in this case, this is just going to be an effort challenge, which is a specific type. And I can explain that in a second. So what I'm going to want you guys to do is you're going to roll some core dice. That's how this always works. You're going to always roll one type of core dice, which is either strong, tough, smart, or brave. And then you can potentially combine those with special dice. Or dice provided by some other types of gear, weapons, armor, things like that. But in this case, you usually just have your basic core dice and your special dice.
Okay.
In this situation, I don't think any of you have a special dice which will help in investigating. So you're just going to go ahead and roll a number of dice equal to your smart.
I might. I get you. It says it's a combat skill, but I have something called Cry, and so I roll. It says I roll with smarts against attack, so I didn't know how flexible the system is because it seems I can be yelling out for her right now.
In this situation, I don't think Cry is going to do what you want it to do.
Awesome, that's
so let's
fine.
Go ahead
that's cool.
and just do smart, but trust me, you will be using that and you'll understand how it works.
Awesome.
Once we get into a fight.
Quick question. The pre-gen dog doesn't have barf, but
They're different characters, Alice.
Okay.
Yeah, the barf ability is something that's would definitely come up in a longer campaign.
Cool.
But in this situation, you're not going to run into enough food items for barf to really be effective. The whole point of barf is to be able to eat a food item twice.
That's why it was because
I had a dog that did that.
Yeah.
I was noticing that the characters in general had all the different abilities in the book. So, okay.
Yeah, we decided to leave out barf this time just because it was something that required a little more explanation than we could easily fit onto the pre-gen sheet.
So I rolled 2 5s.
Awesome.
All right.
Am I able to use my run to assist in just covering ground on the search for what we've got going on?
In this situation, you're just rolling smart.
Okay.
Normally, run would be added to something like brave dice.
Okay, I apologize. I actually rolled 2 dice when I was supposed to roll 1. I apologize.
Uh-oh.
Let me re-roll that.
Cheater.
I rolled a 4 this time.
I have a 3.
I'm a 1.
I am a 1.
Excellent. These are all
I am
appropriate
smelling
numbers.
Nick. I'm smelling fish bag.
I rolled 4.
It's because I got some smoked salmon in my pocket.
Sorry for us asking weird questions, but figuring things out.
You're absolutely fine. That's how we move forward. Okay, so it looks like Ella is the one who makes this. You pick up your first piece of candy, and it's very clear to you that there is a trail that leads back into a series of black bushes that have sort of taken over the back half of the yard.
Okay.
You can see it. It looks to be Cindy's favorite candy, and so it's pretty clear that she's either left this for you or was just hogging down on some candy before she got stuck in those bushes.
Okay. I'm running towards the bushes and calling out, "Sassy, wait, no, you can't eat that candy. Mommy says it'll make you sick. You can't eat chocolate."
Oh, sassafras, the temptation is real.
I know.
I feed chocolate to dogs all the time. Are you not supposed to give dogs chocolate?
Just in large quantities. Don't be such a worrywart.
Right. Well, I follow you into the bushes. I want to see where all this chocolate is.
I'm heading into the bushes, definitely.
I'm following in because I want some chocolate. Because Cindy's eating it all, and I want to get some.
I'm picking up the still wrapped pieces that fell out of her pocket and such, and that we can find. I'm gonna keep the good ones.
Yeah, go ahead and hold on to them. So I want you to go ahead and write on your character sheet that you have some candy.
Sure. I will
Just put that down.
Goes very well with it carries extra food.
Exactly. So as you guys reach the blackberry bushes, you kind of push forward a bit, and then you realize that there's a little spot that maybe you could crawl underneath, and that the blackberry bush seems to be a little hollow towards the middle, and that maybe you could stand up in there.
Oh, this is like a fort. This is like that fort that we made in the park that one time.
Are the blackberries ripe?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick some blackberries.
They are good to go. It's the perfect time of year for them and everything.
Cool.
I turn and I watch Ella expectantly.
I feed Sassy some berries. and I pocket the rest.
Aw.
Oh my gosh! So through
Face
the
full of blue on Sassy now.
perfect. So that's right. So you guys get through the tunnel. You end up in the sort of this sort of cavernous area, almost covered in these brambles. And right in the middle of this area is a small wooden plank. It's about 4 feet wide, 3 feet long, and on it is a freestanding door. You see it. It's a wooden door. It's got looks to be copper clasps that on the hinges, and it's surrounded by stones that make up the frame itself.
Cool. I start crossing the bridge, and I know that it's wide enough, but I'm just gonna like 1 foot in front of the other and have my arms out just for the fun of it.
On either side of you, it's dirty and muddy, so it's probably your best bet not to,
Awesome.
That's
And I'm wearing a
get
pretty
over there.
dress, so I have to make sure I keep it as clean as I can. So 1 foot in front of the other, arms out.
What is
The
the door?
Come on, Sassy, come on.
yeah, the door itself is very strange. It's almost like it's a door from some sort of fantasy cartoon or like a video game door or something like that. It's just off and doesn't look like the other doors you've seen.
Why is it in the brambles? Did they leave it here? Did somebody leave a door here? That's dumb.
It's a really weird place to put a door.
Yeah, it doesn't even. It's just standing here.
But I've played enough video games to know that going through it's probably not a good idea.
I think we should definitely go through it. I think it probably leads to a secret level.
I think we should go through. I mean, Cindy's obviously on the other side, and whatever she's doing, we should go find her.
We
She
can.
she has more candy.
We could pretend the door is like the door to our secret fort, and we could have a secret fort in this door.
That sounds smart.
I like forts.
That is a horrible idea.
Mary's our leader.
Let's do it. She's not the leader. I'm the oldest. That makes me the leader.
Shut up. Mom says I'm the leader because I'm bossy, is what she says. I'm
What
bossy
did I
like
just tell
her.
you? Mom doesn't know what she's talking about.
Mom does know what she's talking about because she's bossy, and I'm like, Mom.
She calls Luke Skywalker Luke Sky Stroller or something like that. She screws it up every time.
Yeah, well,
I'm scratching at the door.
I open the door.
Oh, yeah. So you open the door, and before you is a baffling sight. You open it into another place. On the other side of the door seems to be a forest. Different trees, different grass, different wind, different smell in the air, different sounds, almost a different sunlight. And it's strange and baffling. And as you open the door, you open it inwards towards you. And on the other side of that door, you see a big dagger plunged into it and a note.
Holy
and on that
crap.
note, scribbled in terrible handwriting, is a letter from Cindy that says, come find me. There's adventure farther in.
I ignore the note and I run into the forest.
Holy crap! It is a secret fort.
So as soon as Sassafras runs into the forest, you
I
are
run after
now
Sassy.
you now have the ability to speak and think on a different level than you did before. This could either come to you slowly or instantaneously. It's totally up to you.
Gotcha. I'll bring it up later.
I run after Sassy. Wait, Sassy, wait! Wait for me!
I am way more interested in this dagger. I am going to pull it out of the door and be like, look, it's like a really sharp knife.
It is a sharp knife, and now that you've pulled it out, go ahead and write it down on your character sheet.
Thank you.
You have a dagger.
Preston, where's Preston? I'm going to poke him with my dagger. Preston, Preston.
No.
look.
No. What did I tell you about poking me with sharp things? That'll hurt somebody.
Mom
Nobody
says
else is weirded out that there's a door to a TARDIS type thing going on here.
it is like a TARDIS.
Shouldn't we go get Babs?
A tortoise.
TARDIS,
A Dr. TARDIS.
Dr. TARDIS.
Dr. Turtle.
You got me monologue. Mary, you're silly. But I don't think we should go in there. We should probably get an adult.
What? You're an adult? You're like 9.
I'm 11.
Oh, you're 11? Well, that's old enough. What do adults don't know anything. Shut up.
Preston sticks his head through the door,
We have a
sticks it out, looks
have
on the other side of the door
dagger.
through the door frame, notices that it goes to nowhere, pushes his head back in. He's very curious. He's like,
How does this work? It's like a whole extra level. I bet we get extra lives if we go through.
oh man, I knew we played too many video games.
We play the exact right number of video games. covering it.
All right, we're just 15 minutes and then we're out.
15 years. We're not. I'm going to live here. This is my home now. All right, so I stick the dagger in
worst.
my
Literally
pocket,
the worst little sister.
Yeah, I am the best. Shut up, Preston. I'm going to go through. Now I'm on the other side. Look at this place. This is amazing.
Yeah, as you guys sort of explore the area around you, it's a bit of a clearing, but otherwise you are surrounded by trees. The commotion you guys create has clearly disturbed some of the local life because you see a raccoon drop down from a tree and look at all of you incredulously.
Oh my God, that's a raccoon. I'm gonna.
No, my name is Stevenson. You don't have to call me raccoon, human, or whatever you are.
All right, I'm immediately gonna run back through the door and hide.
You want a hug?
Don't touch me. Oh God, you small people are the worst.
Yeah, don't touch him. He's diseased. He's dizzy. And I start looking around. Where'd that come from? Where'd that come? Who's talking? I start spinning around like I'm chasing my tail, but trying to find the voice.
Ella, your dog can talk.
Sassy, are you okay? Yeah, I screamed in case you didn't catch that when Sassy talked.
All right, calm down. Come down. I don't understand. I come down here to tell you to stop making noise, and you all start shouting. What is going on?
This is like talking Animal World.
No, I mean, yeah, but it's just normal world for me.
I don't understand what's going on.
Hey, you're a raccoon. Hey, there's a raccoon. Everybody, raccoon.
It's a talking raccoon, and this is impossible.
Ella, could your dog always talk?
No. Sassy, are you okay?
Why wouldn't I be okay? What's wrong? What's wrong? Where's that voice coming from?
It's coming from you mongrel.
Hey, don't call Sassy a mongrel.
Well,
Sassy is a purebred. Mommy said so.
Oh, this is great. Preston, we should go home and get our snake.
Don't bring snakes through the door.
We should bring
the raccoon says.
What? Why not?
Because snakes are evil. They're wicked creatures who work for the prince.
Prince?
Ooh,
yeah, there's a prince.
Is there a princess too?
I mean, I don't know, maybe.
If there's not a princess, I'm going to be the princess.
You can't just come here and be a prince. That's not how it works.
No, actually, I'm going to be the king. Ella, you should be the princess because you have a dress.
Yes, I'm the princess.
You're the princess. I'm the king. Preston, you can.
I'm a guard. I'm a guard.
You're the guard. Preston, you can be the dummy.
Sassy's the best guard ever. I go and I pick Sassy up and give Sassy a big hug.
I actually run over to Preston. I lick him, and I'm like, "Don't worry, they call me Dummy too."
I've never called Sassy dumb ever. I start picking flowers to try and make myself a princess crown.
I've never heard raccoons talk my language.
Why are you wrecking my garden, child? Those are my flowers.
What was this raccoon's name?
Sorry.
Stevenson.
Ludison?
Stevenson.
Stevenson. Mr. Stevenson?
Yeah, that's my name.
You're a raccoon?
I mean, sure.
Like a normal raccoon?
Yeah, I'm a normal raccoon. What kind of question is that?
I don't know. Do you live here?
Yes, I live here.
Have you seen our friend? Her name is Cindy.
And Cindy.
Yeah. Oh,
terror of the forest.
No, Cindy's a little chubby girl who eats candy,
and has clearly eaten too much candy because she's so hyperactive.
Oh,
that kid has been nothing but a menace. She comes through the door at all times of the day, whenever she wants, stomping on my garden, going to visit the fairies up the road.
Oh my God, this is Sydney's magical door.
Yeah, there's fairies.
Sassy, let's go find the fairies. Bye, Mr. Stevenson.
One moment. I got to do something. I go over to the raccoon's tree and pee on it.
Oh my gosh! The raccoon seems very irritated, and you see him. He goes back up his tree and he says something about calling the local authorities.
Which way are the fairies?
You see a small raccoon hand point from up in the tree, and it points towards on the other side of the door towards north.
I head that way. Sassy, come on, let's go.
Yeah,
we need to find the fairies.
I want to see
After marking the tree, but leaving an appropriate amount still in my bladder, I continue on with the young human child.
You have successfully marked that tree. You will be able to identify it later on.
I genuinely think I need to send this game to Jill.
I prance and pounce after my human child.
Yeah, so you guys start heading north. You notice that it's not too far before you find a little bit of a trail, and then that leads to sort of a cobblestone road. Along the way, you see a few other animals who seem to be doing various jobs. There's a collection of squirrels collecting nuts and trading them. You see a big spider in a tree who seems to have a collection of watches it's trying to sell.
Oh.
I chase the squirrels.
The squirrels don't seem to want to be chased. As soon as you come up to them, they look at you threateningly and then pull out tiny squirrel knives.
I run away scared, back and hide behind my human child.
Oh my god! I'll pull out my dagger.
When I see the
Pocket
spiders,
knives
when I see the knives on the squirrels, I grab Mary's hand. I feel better when you hold my hand, please.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. I can protect you.
You messed with squirrels, Morty. You messed with squirrels.
And I let Sassy hide behind me.
I gently grab the squeaky toy that she has carried with her and give it a light squeak.
I think this is like a bad neighborhood.
The spider up in the tree, it's bigger than a normal spider for sure. It kind of comes down on its web a bit and says, "Oh, you kids look lost. Those squirrels are awfully dangerous."
Yeah, we're looking for our friend Mary and
You mean you're looking for your friend Cindy?
Yeah, I'm
We're
Mary,
looking for Cindy.
and I'm very confused.
It's an adventure of self-discovery, I guess, is what it is.
We're looking for Cindy. She went to go play with the fairies. We're trying to find the fairies.
Oh yeah, Cindy.
I hold Mary's hand really tight. I hold Mary's hand really tight. I'm really scared right now.
How come I can understand you guys?
Well, because you're in Yeld, says the spider.
What the Yeld is that?
Yeld is a place. It's a magical land. It's where you're standing right now.
I always thought Cindy was lying. I didn't think magical lands were real.
Well, I mean, don't you look stupid?
Shut up! You're the dumb one.
I didn't want to say it, but I agree. I agree with that.
Well, hey, I mean, while I have your attention, would you guys like to buy some watches?
Are they magical watches? Can I buy them with candy?
Aren't all watches magical because they keep time?
No, nobody uses watches anymore. Everybody has cell phones.
I don't have a cell phone here. That's what Cindy said. I don't have a cell phone. I have a surplus of watches. I'm trying to get rid of them.
Can I buy a watch with candy?
No, it's coins or nothing.
I have nothing.
That's not what I mean.
Where do we get coins? Coins are like pennies?
You get coins by doing jobs.
Oh, my mom has a job.
Like, you feed some you feed some people in an inn, you clean a stable, something like that, and then somebody pays you. That's how jobs work, right? That's how they work in towns.
Okay.
I don't think we're old enough to have jobs.
I'm a little kid.
That doesn't stop people from having jobs.
Can I have an allowance?
I go ahead and continue marking my empire on the spider's tree.
Yeah, he sees that and he recoils a little bit upwards. He says, "Okay, so you seem to be a newcomer to Yeld. I would suggest not peeing on people's property. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but the squirrels have knives, so watch out."
That's good. Don't.
Sounds like a podcast.
This place is starting to get a little scary.
It's not scary, but you can feel my hand trembling.
Don't worry, Ella. You got a dog, and I have my pocket knife.
And I have a knife too. And my knife's
and Mary's got a dagger, which
I
kind of am going to take from her later.
No, you have to get past my dagger. Where are the fairies? I'm gonna get all the fairies and put them in my pocket. Where are the fairies, Mr.
I thought you weren't supposed to use that word anymore.
Preston?
What?
I thought they were LGBTQ now.
What?
I don't even know what that means. The fairies are down the road. They live in the hut by the lake.
Preston, I thought I thought that the camp counselor said that you're not allowed to play with knives anymore because that's how you got the scar on your face. You aren't responsible something with knives.
Yeah,
Big word.
Mom said you can't play with them either because you're always carving stuff into the walls
And your face.
and your face. You're carving stuff into your face, and you're dumb.
They call you dumb more than I've ever been called dumb, I think.
No, just mongrel.
Sassy.
Mongrel.
Sassy's not a mongrel. Sassy's a purebred, and Sassy's not dumb. Sassy's the smartest dog there is.
Sassy can talk, so that's pretty good.
Wow, the spider looks at Sassafras and goes, "Wow, you really have these humans on a short leash, don't you? They love you."
Yeah. I'm good like that.
I mean-
I'm doing great.
What did you do? Did you trick them? Did you threaten them? What's the deal?
I'm furry. I give kisses and I run after balls.
Sassy, can I have a kiss?
Nah.
See, Sassy's my guard, and I'm a princess.
Yeah,
Sassy's my
I'm a
guard.
guard. I'm a guard.
I'll tell you right now. Don't go around telling people you're a princess. That's how you get kidnapped.
Kidnapped?
Yeah.
And I start shaking and trembling and being more scared, holding on to Mary tighter.
Yeah, kidnapped. They're gonna nap your kid. Watch out.
That's okay. My mom makes me take kidnaps sometimes
Oh
when I get too hyper.
no, I don't think that's what I'm talking about.
I like naps.
I do too. Let's.
I do too. Can we take a nap here, Mr. Spider? I'm getting
No.
really tired.
No, you want
I'll give you
somewhere
some
to
candy.
sleep? Go to the fairies. They've got like a house for you normal people who sleep in houses.
Oh yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
but I bet you could whip up an awesome hammock right now.
Yeah, let's go to the ferries and we can catch them all in our pockets, and then we can take them home.
You
Are
want
they
to put
like
fairies in your
Pokemon?
pocket?
What?
You're gonna put fairies in your pockets?
Yeah, mind your own business.
All right, yeah, you go have fun. That sounds great.
It does sound great.
But
Which way
yeah,
are the fairies, Mr. Spider?
Mary,
I
let me
don't
get one of them
know.
berries.
A half an hour walk for you and your two legs.
Half an hour. Never mind.
Which way?
He points with several of his arms farther north. Just follow the road. You'll find the lake. They have a small hut there.
A lake?
Okay.
Ooh, that's
I'm really tired, though. You sure I can't take a nap here? I'll give you some candy.
You can't
Take
nap
it out
here.
by the lake.
I don't run a hotel for lost children and their dogs who can't hold their bladders.
Is there a hotel for lost children
Maybe.
and their dogs?
You should talk to the fairies about that. I think I'm done babysitting.
Do the
I'm not gonna
fairies
fly
have
watcher.
Do the fairies have a house made of gingerbread cookies?
Who has a house made of food? That seems like a terrible idea.
Like a
Mommy
witch?
told me lots of stories of places where there are houses made of candy and gingerbread. Every Christmas we make these big pretty gingerbread houses, and she says that fairies live in them during Christmas so that they are out of the cold.
What is a Christmas?
It's with the presents and Santa.
I mean,
And
in the
the
winter with the
crucifixion,
snow,
where they put people up on crosses. They nailed them to them until
fairies
they
get
died.
cold.
Yeah.
So fairies get cold in the snow. So mommy says we have to make those gingerbread houses so that they stay warm in the winter, and then they go back out in the spring. And that's why I have to be very careful when I eat any gingerbread houses, because I don't want to let the fairies get cold.
And you have
I'm
to leave
confused.
milk out for the brownies so that they'll fill up your pan with delicious brownies.
Yes, mommy says that too.
How do fairies get cold? They're covered in fur.
Well, I'm covered in fur and I get cold.
Yeah, but like you're this tiny little thing. I mean, I've never seen a cold fairy. They're like 9 feet tall.
9 feet tall?
Pretty big for a fairy.
You've never seen a fairy before? You guys want to put them in your pockets? I don't know what you're talking about.
Whose feet are we talking about?
Well, where we're from, fairies are tiny, not 9 feet tall and covered
Yeah.
with fur.
Yeah, and they
Fairies are
grant
small and have
wishes?
wings and are pretty and cute and they sparkle.
Yeah,
They sparkle?
they sparkle.
Yeah, they sparkle.
Like vampires.
Like
our
vampires.
furries are tall and fat and furry, and they stink. So I don't know what to tell you. They seem to be the opposite of what you've just described to me.
I don't believe you.
I mean, you don't have to believe me.
I feel like spiders lie.
I feel like that is racial profiling, and I am absolutely not okay with it.
If he says that he's offended, I'm leaving.
I think we should go find these fairies.
I think so too, Mary.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to worry about Cindy. I mean, if they sound a little mean on these, and we
Do you
don't
know where
want
Cindy
to
went?
get-
She's got my
Cindy?
candy. Yeah, she's got my candy.
She went to the ferry. She's striking some sort of deal with them.
She's making deals.
Yeah.
I think they captured her. I think we have to rescue Cindy. I think we should go rescue Cindy.
Let's go rescue Cindy.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
And I'm not missing an opportunity to see 9-foot fairies
I
covered.
start going the way that he directed off the road.
Yeah. I run, and then after like a minute, I get tired, and so I walk.
I'm trying to hold on to Mary's hand the whole time as she's running.
Come
and
on.
so I'm letting her
Come
drag me.
You
And then
guys
when she
walk
Okay, I guess
forever.
we can walk at a normal. This is taking so long.
It's just forever and ever and ever, and it's like 20 minutes go by, and God,
I don't even remember what Cindy looks like.
who knows?
Ugh.
But you guys do finally reach what looks to be a lake. The forest starts giving away to a nice, pristine body of water. It's blue water. You can see the light reflecting off of it, and there's a small shack on one of the sides of the lake, and on the opposite end of the lake is a small cavernous area. The shack seems to be, it's not too big, but it's, a decent size. There seems to be some commotion inside of it. Each side of the shack has clothing lines coming out from it and stretching across the beach. You can see all types of clothing hanging there drying.
Wow, this looks like.
Are there pretty dresses there that fit me?
There probably are.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
drink
start-
from the lake.
I'm gonna look through them. I just screen shared something I just find hilarious on in your guys' book. It's about the dice section and such, and then the different category of food. And the after it lists all the different foods, there's a little asterisk with vegan options available.
That's right.
I just think that that's an adorable little thing.
One of the very early games we ran, one of the kids who was in it, when we said these are the foods you can have, said, "My mommy only lets us eat vegan food." So, yeah, we didn't want to leave anyone out.
That's cute. That's very cute. Cool.
Preston, this looks like the shack that Uncle Bill lives in the park.
Oh man, we
Uncle
probably shouldn't
Bill?
go in it then.
Hey,
Do you
Why don't you
think
tell me about Uncle Bill, Mary?
Uncle Bill doesn't have a home, so he lives in the park, and he likes to smoke funny cigarettes.
Probably not someone we should hang
Is he-
around with because we don't.
No, Mom
Is he
says
nice?
no. He's a little nice. Mom says he's not really our uncle, and we shouldn't ever talk to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're
I'll-
not supposed to go in here?
I'll introduce you to him sometime, though. Yes, let's go in. I walk right up to the door and I knock on the door and I go, "Hello."
You hear a big booming voice, just a minute, and then some commotion in the shack, and the door opens, and you see this massive creature. It is this large. It's like 7 feet tall, 4 feet wide. It's got this. It's covered in white fur from head to toe. It's got big, silly ears. Sort of, kind of looks like a raccoon a bit.
Are you
It's got,
a fairy?
that's what they call us. Are you the mermaid hunters?
We're looking for Cindy.
You
I'm
are the
looking
mermaid
up.
hunters. Excellent. He steps all the way out of his shack. I've been waiting for you. Your friend. She's already on the job, but she said her backup would be coming soon.
What?
What?
She's on a
Mermaid?
job?
Mermaids? Like mermaids?
Yeah, like mermaids. You got to hunt them down.
Like
yeah, like
Why?
fish with people parts.
I know what a mermaid is. I have mermaid Legos.
Why do we have to hunt them down, Mr. Fairy?
Oh,
Because
well,
they taste
your
delicious.
Your teeth are
Recently-
really big.
I do have big teeth. I need them for chomping down on stuff. But don't worry, I don't eat kids. That's not really something I'm into.
Good. This place
That's good.
has
I'm
been
sure we
really
taste horrible.
scary.
That makes
No, you're salty and delicious.
I am.
Nom,
The rest of you, not so
nom,
much.
Nom, nom.
Why do we have to hunt the mermaids, Mr. Fairy?
Well, they came and they started taking over the lakes in the area. They came through here. They tried to burn down my shack and my clothes cleaning business, and they were over at the other lakes, and they'd been taken over there, and they're just bullies.
No, I don't like bullies.
I agree.
Oh,
So,
no.
So you know what we do to bullies here?
We
What?
Obviously nothing.
them.
Well, I mean, you hit him with these hammers. He pulls out a big cartoonish wooden mallet.
Oh my god,
I mean-
Mary's eyes go huge. She's trembling in excitement.
The fairy hands it over to Mary.
Preston takes it from Mary. You already got the dagger.
I need a dagger and a hammer.
Don't worry. We have enough for all of you.
I want
Oh, yes, please.
yes.
It's totally
this
up
is
to you.
the hammer.
You can stab the mermaids. You can choke the mermaids. You can squish the mermaids. Whatever you got to do to kill them. But I just want them gone.
Kill them?
Mom says
Yeah.
we're not supposed to. Killing is bad.
No. You gotta kill stuff once in a while. It's food.
Oh,
That's right.
Mm.
I mean, I would suggest not eating the mermaids. They probably don't taste good. But you can leave them for somebody else to eat.
Are the mermaids really
Vicious,
that
delicious.
bad?
Yeah, mermaids suck.
oh. I thought mermaids were supposed to
Well,
be pretty and
And
fair
nice.
and magical.
Yeah, they are pretty and fair and magical, and they also suck. So
Preston
So-
sucks.
So is our friend Cindy in danger? Do we have to go save her?
well, I mean, she's by herself, so I would say yes.
Why is she by herself?
I don't know.
Because
I
we're
mean,
slow.
By herself.
why wasn't her mermaid hunting team here to back her up? You guys are just so late.
I've
Wait.
been wondering that myself.
I
I've thought about that myself.
take one of the big hammers he gives me, as it's almost as big as I am, and I'm holding it with both my hands. Okay, let's go.
That's right. So she was over in the cove, the little cavern there on the other side of the lake. That's where she went. There should be a mermaid left inside, supposedly. But she's been in there a while and she hasn't come out.
I look across the lake at the cavern. It's so far away.
I mean, it's like just across. It's not that far.
Is there a boat?
No, there's no boat. Just walk.
Do we have to walk?
Yeah, you have to walk. You're getting paid here. What do
How
you
much
want
are we?
from me?
Wait. How much are we getting paid?
We're getting paid.
How many watches?
Yeah, there's you get.
How many watches?
I'm not a spider. I don't need to pay you in watches. No, we will pay. Each of you gets lots of coins. And hey, if your friend Cindy is dead, you get to split her take too.
Oh.
No, Cindy better not be dead.
Well, I'm not saying that she is. I'm just saying, on the off chance she happens to be a corpse now, you can, collect her half.
Sydney will not be dead. Sydney, she has lots of candy and she's tough.
I dropped the hammer and I'm holding on to Mary again.
It's okay. We look at how many hammers we have. I bet we can squish any mermaid we see.
I hold on to Mary with Mary's hand with one hand really, really, really tight, and I start dragging the hammer behind me on the ground. Like, you drag a doll.
I think I squeeze your hand and I put my hammer over my shoulder in the toughest pose I can think of. I think if I hit the mermaid first and I'll hit her in the foot and then you hit her in the head, I think we can take care of any mermaids we find.
Mermaids don't have feet.
Oh,
Not the
crap.
tail.
You're right. My plan is ruined. Wait,
I'm
does
gonna
that mean-
carve trust me into my hammer
Nice.
with my pocket knife.
Yeah, everybody write down that you now have a mermaid hunter's mallet.
Oh, I wrote mega hammer.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Totally up to you.
I pick one up in my mouth.
No, and then what you're going to do is next to the name, write down that it's going to provide you with +1 strong.
Okay.
So whenever you would swing it at somebody, or now that you have it and you would be making any sort of strong roll, you're going to go ahead and add that hammer's dice. Even if you're in a situation where the hammer doesn't necessarily help, like you're climbing, you still get to add those dice.
Oh, nice.
Well, it's because as I'm climbing and dragging the hammer, it's chipping and giving me footholds.
Yeah, totally.
You be creative with how it's helping.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Fairy,
You can
Fairy?
call me Ramen. My name's Ramen.
Like the soup.
Like the
ramen.
soup? That's delicious. Are you delicious like the soup? Do
I
you have
mean,
soup? We'd like soup. Can we get paid ahead of time in soup?
Most fairies have food names.
I would also like soup.
I don't have any soup for you.
Oh, I feel like you lie about your name.
I'm greatly disappointed right now.
Listen. You guys beat up that fairy and you bring it back to me, and I will give you lots of soup. If that's what you want, I'll give you 2 cups of soup each. It'll be whatever kind of soup you want. Mermaid soup even.
And coin, please.
And
yeah, you get some coins. I'll give you some coins too.
And these hammers.
No, you don't get to keep the hammers. You're renting these hammers. They're simply in your use for now, but you don't get to keep my hammers.
You shouldn't have defaced that hammer.
Oh no,
Preston.
I didn't know it.
You're gonna have to pay for that.
Do we have to swim because mermaids swim? Mermaids live in the water.
Well, I mean, you don't have to swim all the way across the lake. I would suggest walking around the lake and then swimming into the cavern.
Mommy says I can't swim unless I put on that swimming cap.
I don't know swim. I don't swim.
You don't.
I'm a great swimmer.
At camp, I fell in the water, and
I know the doggy paddle.
Preston had to pull me out, and he didn't even do it right.
I thought he pushed you under.
Yeah.
Cindy knew how to swim, and she got there just fine.
Oh, I do swim better than Cindy.
I'm not
we
going
should
to push
probably
you
go if Cindy's hurt or in danger. We shouldn't waste time.
Oh my gosh!
If she needs our help, then we should go.
That's a good
point.
All right,
let's go.
Okay. All right.
Grab my hammer.
We're gonna make this mermaid pay for our soup.
For your soup. That's right. The ferry heads back into the shack as you guys take off. You guys kind of walk around the lake. It's a nice, it's a nice view. The weather's nice. You're dragging these mallets along, adventure stuff. And you get to the other side of the lake. You see that, you're going to have to do some swimming to get into the little cave. And it looks like maybe only one of you has to swim across because the other can throw a little rope down to help the others get through.
I can swim and then swim back with a rope or something.
That's right.
Okay.
All right, so what I'm going to want you to do is you're going to go ahead and roll some strong dice. So that is your core strong dice. Whoever wants to swim across right now.
Would my run aid me in swimming?
Nope. Swim is a whole separate thing.
I just want to point out as a rules thing for our dog here. Dogs obviously don't have hands. That still means you can use a hammer. But
in your mouth, I saw in the pictures.
Yep. You can use an item in your mouth. It does keep you from talking while you're using it. But I think we all get the point.
So you're gonna go ahead and roll strong dice, whatever that core strong is, plus the one you get from that mallet.
Okay.
Right. And higher is better. And
you're gonna add up the total together.
Okay.
I'm going to swim with Sassy. I don't want Sassy to swim alone. I got a 3 and a 5.
I have an 11 total.
Yeah, I didn't know if I'm supposed to add them together or not.
Yeah, go ahead and add everything together. That's how that works.
I have an 8.
You got an 8. Oh, it looks like I got a 9. So this is an effort challenge. So in this case, how that's going to work, we have different types of challenges in Yeld. There's effort challenges, skill challenges, and heroic challenges. And these represent anything that's not combat, right? In an effort challenge, the idea is you are trying to complete a task that you know you can complete, but just how much it takes out of you to do it, right? Where a skill challenge is to determine whether or not you can succeed at something. So in this case, you know you can do it. It's just how much of energy it's going to take from you to do it, right? So in the case of, it looks like Sassafras makes it no problem, right onto the other side, but Ella is going to have to lose a core die.
Okay.
As you do it. It's just a struggle to swim through. So what you're going to go ahead and do is choose one of those core dice and lower them by 1.
Okay.
Yeah, whichever one you want.
So I just dropped down to 1 die now, my special hammer die.
No, actually, for example, if you're, let's say you reduced your brave die by 1, it would reduce it from 2 to 1.
Yeah, I know. My strong is a 1, so if
I
you're
see.
reducing me, I'm down to
So yeah,
0.
you can go ahead and use strong if you'd like in this situation, reduce it down to 0, but you'll still have a die from the hammer to
Awesome.
make attacks and stuff with.
Okay.
These dice can be gained back later, and this is just a representation of, oh, I did it, but I'm exhausted, or, I hit my head on the way through, something like that. The whole point of challenges like this is to avoid sending the game to a standstill because you fail to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
This is all about just moving forward, at whatever cost it takes. So the two of you make it through. You're able to throw a rope across to the others.
Good job.
And they can make it across no problem without having to make a roll as well.
Thank you. I was too scared to swim. But, because I had a rope.
I was going to push you under. You would have been fine.
The last time you pushed me under, I drank so much water I was sick and I threw up.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was not funny. Mom didn't say it was funny either.
So,
Mom
Mom doesn't know what she's talking about. She definitely doesn't know comedy because that was funny.
I want to hit you with my hammer so bad.
I have a hammer too.
So you guys are at the entrance of this cave. You see it goes much farther in. It's dark, but there seems to be some torchlight hanging from the walls farther in as well. So what do you guys want to do? You gonna run on in and announce your presence, or you gonna sneak your way through? What's your plan?
Is there any sign of Cindy?
You don't see anybody right here, but the cavern goes far enough back that there might be some people farther in.
I wonder if this is like where the mermaid lives, or if it's just like her hiding place, like her fort. I guess we should go inside. Should we sign?
Let's go inside. Mary, you go first. I'll be right behind you.
I start heading in.
Okay.
Sassy, wait! Be careful. It might be dark in there. I'm afraid of the dark. Do we have flashlights? Anyone have a flashlight? I'm afraid of the dark.
I don't have a flashlight. I have Band-Aids, but I don't have a flashlight.
Okay. Just don't let go of my hand, please, Mary. I feel better when you're holding it. Thank you.
Okay, we can do this. We'll find Cindy, and then we'll go home, and we'll have all the soup. It'll be okay.
Hungry.
I am hungry too. Oh, do you have any more berries?
Hand you some berries. Oh yeah, and I take a few berries and I hand Sassy. Come here, Sassy. Here, Sassy. Want some berries,
Sassy is moving into the cave quietly, looking around with a hammer in her mouth.
I offer Preston some berries. They're kind of half smashed from my pocket.
That's okay.
We all got berries.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Preston.
Yeah, a little farther down to the cave.
Preston's so nice to me.
Sassafras can start sniffing out what smells like something else, something unrecognizable, but also the smell of a kid, like the other ones here. So maybe that's the smell of Cindy.
I put the hammer down and I'm like, yes, I'm putting the hammer down, folks. I put the hammer down and I look back at them. I'm like, I smell another little cute fleshy kid.
That's probably
pick the hammer up.
That's probably her. She's pretty fleshy.
She is. So you guys continue a little bit farther in. A little hesitant, but you're getting in there. You see that there's torches that are lining the walls as you get a little farther in. So there's some light. It's not completely pitch black, and you start hearing as you get closer the sounds of heavy breathing, some coughing, a little bit of like moaning from what sounds like pain. The cavern starts opening up into a larger room. The middle of that room seems to have a series of wooden crates and barrels surrounded by some other like a wooden brace for a couple of hammocks and a few other odds and ends, some netting. And in the middle of that collection of stuff, you see what looks to be a person. It's too shadowy to tell, but they're leaned over on one of the barrels, and that's the person who's been coughing and breathing heavily.
Are they an adult or a kid?
Cindy, and
they seem to be a little bit bigger than a kid.
Uh-oh.
I think it's Cindy immediately, and so I start running. Cindy, are you okay?
As soon as you sort of get close enough, you realize that it's person shaped, but the skin tone is weird. It's sort of a purple. The hair is kind of a green, and instead of legs, there is a big fishy tail. But you see, it's a mermaid, and you see her, and she's holding her side. She seems to be bleeding, and she's got a dagger sticking out of her.
Does it look like the dagger I have?
Yes, it looks just like the dagger you have.
That's Cindy's dagger.
The mermaid kind of looks up at you and she says, "Are you here to finish the job?"
No, we're just here to find our friend Cindy.
We do have a job we're supposed to finish, though.
The mermaid
we're looking for soup.
We're looking for Cindy and soup. Do you have soup?
But don't mix the two up. We don't want Cindy soup.
We do not, unless it's really good.
Yeah. If it was really good, we'd probably be interested.
A deep, wet cough, and you can see the blood in her hand, and she says, "That friend of yours, she snuck up on me and stabbed me twice." Just do it.
Are you really as awful as Are you really as awful as the fairy said you are?
I don't think of myself particularly awful.
I always thought that mermaids were nice, and I always wanted to be a mermaid, but then the fairy said that you're awful, and now I don't want to be a mermaid anymore.
She even has a blanket that's like a mermaid tail, and it's all warm and fuzzy, and I like to hide in it sometimes.
And Mommy said that I could have a mermaid party for my birthday where we get costumes, and we all dress up, and we go play in the pool. But if you're going to be an awful and mean like the fairy said you are, I don't want to be a mermaid anymore.
Oh, wow. Just kill me. Oh, God.
Look what you did. Look what you did. Look what you did.
All right.
Made her cry.
I'm gonna raise my hammer up. And can you lower your head down?
I'm looking away. I'm crying, and I'm looking away and walking away crying.
I don't really want to hit you. You have such a cool fort. But
you fools! You've fallen for the first mermaid trick. And she pulls the dagger out of her stomach and she starts a fight.
Oh no! She was a jerk.
Okay, so let's get into a fight here.
Oh no!
All right.
Sounds
good. Here's how fights work. The first person to say, "Hey, I want to do something," is the first person who does. That's how it works. There's no initiative rolls. Well, the mermaid was first.
So cool.
She's going to go ahead and act first, but there's a mechanic in this game called "Excuse Me." So anytime somebody takes an action, someone else who isn't going right then and who has not gone yet can say, "Excuse me." And then those two players, the active player and the one who wants to go, are going to roll against each other, and whoever wins gets to go instead.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's an interruptive mechanic.
I say Sassy's going to interrupt.
Yeah, only one of you can interrupt at a time. You'll have to decide between you who you want that to be.
Not me. I'm crying right now.
Go ahead.
So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to roll some brave dice, and then you're also going to roll brave dice. And if you have the excuse me special die, you can add to it.
And the dog with the dog squeaky toy, it does have an excuse me die.
Yep. So I'm going to drop the hammer and grab the squeaky toy. And excuse me.
That's right. And so you're rolling, I think you're rolling what, 3 dice?
Yeah. So I am a 16.
Oh wow! Yeah. That mermaid goes, "Oh, please go ahead."
By all means.
So it is now up to you to take an action. So how this is going to work is that your action is split into 2 parts. You have your act and your move. The act allows you to make attacks, or move again, or cast a spell, or potentially use a special dice in combat. Otherwise, that wouldn't be just a basic attack. And then your movement would allow you to move closer to the enemy. If we were using an action board, we would go ahead and have you moving spaces. The action board is an 8x8 grid, and you would move a number of spaces with your movement equal to your brave.
For example, as a dog, you have the bite special die that you can add to your attacks if you're not using a weapon, or you can choose to make an attack with your hammer.
Gotcha. And so basically biting or hammer, I'm netting the same bonus in a fight.
Yeah.
In this situation.
Yeah,
the hammer,
a few different situations.
And you guys said we didn't really need the 8x8, so we didn't end up starting a Roll20 for it.
Yeah, it's not a requirement. It seems that when we're doing this online, we've done a few, video-based games now, and it seems to work a little bit better without it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially early in the adventures. As you go on, it's a tool you want to use more and more.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
so I'm going to run forward.
Okay.
And take a flying leap, jaws open, and try and bite the hand that will stab. Who was it trying to stab? Mary? I think it was trying to stab Mary.
It was going after Ella because she was the one, the weakest link right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna get the one she sees as the most vulnerable.
So hopefully I can roll as high as I did a second ago.
Yeah, go ahead and roll your strong. You're gonna add 1 for bite.
And totally did not roll as well as I did a second ago. 9, almost half of what I had just a moment ago.
You still beat her. So go ahead and describe
I beat her like
how
a squeaky toy.
So go ahead and give us a description on how you go ahead and bite her pretty hard there.
So I take that fly through the air at the hand that pulled the knife out as she was starting the fight, grab onto the arm, bite down on it, land, and try and pull the arm off of her, growling the whole time. Arr, arr.
Oh yeah, she lets out a screech of pain, and you feel like you're pulling on her arm pretty good that you might have dislocated her shoulder. She screeches in pain, and then we carry on. So from here, how it works is that because you've taken an action, you're done. You now decide who goes next. Anybody who hasn't taken an action yet, you can choose, including the enemy.
I'm going to choose Mary because she was thinking about whacking it when it was just kind of there.
I was totally thinking about whacking it. Now that I see this mermaid is an absolute jerk and a liar, like my brother,
just picture his face on her body right now.
I do not see a pretty mermaid bleeding out of her side with a knife in her hand. What I see is a pretty mermaid with my brother's face. So I'm gonna let go of Ella's hand, and I'm gonna grip the hammer in 2 hands, and I'm gonna raise it over my head. I totally don't care that just a second ago that I was totally having second thoughts about smashing this mermaid. I am going to hit her as hard as I can in the face.
Beat her like she owes you soup.
Yes, because she does.
So one of the mechanics that we're going to talk about now is something called the action chain. So the players can generate an action chain which provides dice to the next person who goes. Ooh. So because Sassafras was successful at the action, Mary is now going to roll an extra die on anything she does. Yeah. And then if Mary is successful, the next one of you to go in this order will get 2 dice, and then it continues to build over time.
Ooh.
Yeah. And if we fail, that chain breaks.
And if you fail, that chain breaks, or if the mermaid interrupts one of you with "excuse me," then that chain can break.
Okay.
Yeah. The other half of this is if there's multiple monsters, they can build their own monster chain.
That's cool.
So it's all about trying to determine who should go when, and
break
to avoid
things up a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, to avoid letting the monsters get their chain while trying to build your own.
I actually like the complexity of that because there's a number of systems like Marvel Heroic that lets you pass from player to player, or let you pass between on your decision. And I noticed that a lot of people don't use it tactically. This is something that will allow people to try and use it a little more tactically and use the interruptions. I like that added mechanic to it.
Yeah, the action chain is definitely a tool used by a lot of different jobs to make what they do much more effective. You'll find that as a black mage or a white mage or any type of caster, the action chain will really help you cast spells. Or if you're playing more of one of the support roles like a witch or a witch hunter, you'll just be able to do a little bit more because you're not so, direct damage.
Yeah. As if it's inspired almost by a video game a little bit.
I know, right? That's crazy.
Yeah. That's really cool. I really like that action chain thing and the interrupting between sides. That's cool.
So Mary is going to take her action here.
All right, I'm going to roll my 2 strong dice plus the strong die from my hammer, and then the 1 extra die from the action chain. So that gives me 4 dice. I roll and I get a whopping 17.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that mermaid's a little too beat up to be able to handle that at all. So go ahead and describe how you go ahead and take her down another peg.
Okay, raise the hammer over my shoulder, and I jump up in the air, which is only about 6 inches, and I bring the hammer down. I'm trying to hit her right in the face, but I kind of hit her in the top of the head instead. And there's just this almost comical sound effect, and her head kind of compresses down into her body a little bit, and like I drop the hammer. I'm so surprised. I drop the hammer on the ground, and I go, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry."
The mermaid cries out again in pain. And then so who goes next?
I think that's me.
Oh, yes, I'm going to choose you to go next.
Okay.
And remember, you'll roll 2 extra dice now.
So the mermaid goes, excuse me. So what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to roll your brave against her brave.
Okay.
And if she beats you, she gets to go instead.
Okay.
So she gets a 4.
And I am rolling 2d6 for brave.
Roll better than 4.
And I rolled a 12, 6 and 6.
Awesome.
You are much
There it
braver
is.
than she is.
She goes, never mind. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, my bad. Okay, well, I want to finish this fight with her. So I'm going to... I don't know. What's stronger, the hammer or the pocket knife?
So in this situation, the pocket knife is giving you brave, I think? Or does it give you something else? I can't remember.
It says +1 fight dirty.
Yeah,
it's giving you fight dirty. Okay, so fight dirty is a special type of attack you can do. Normally, when you do just a basic attack and you successfully hit them, they're going to lose one of their tough dice. And if you ever reach 0 tough dice, you are defeated. Okay. So in the case of dirty fighting, or fight dirty is what we call it, how that works is that when you have successfully attacked, instead of losing a tough die, they're going to lose smart and brave dice, I think.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah, so they would lose 1 smart and 1 brave, right? So this isn't an attack that would necessarily defeat the enemy, but it does make them weaker.
Okay. And I don't have to necessarily use
the
pocket knife for that to happen. I just have to have it in my possession.
So you would choose the weapon that you're using right now. You would go, I want to use the mallet or I want to use the pocket knife. There are actually rules for using 2 weapons at once, and I think you're fine. Let me look at those really quick. I actually think you're absolutely fine to use both at the same time right now.
Yeah, so when you have 2 weapons, you can hold a weapon in each hand, and you just decide which one you're going to use for any given attack or action.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's taking up both hands. So if you potentially had like a shield or another piece of gear that you would want, you no longer have access to it because you have these 2 weapons.
So as a tangential question here, does the dog, obviously, he does not have 2 hands. He only has 1 mouth to hold things. Is there anything that balances out what he can use?
Yeah.
Does he have an extra slot somewhere else?
Yeah. So what ends up happening is the dog actually has an extra core die compared to everybody else.
Oh, okay.
You're a little bit better because of that. And also we have some ideas there's some mechanics around the idea of like dog specific weaponry, like a crossbow you put on your back or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The dog actually also has some exclusive special dice like bite and throw up, and starts with an extra run die as well. So at the beginning of the game, the dog is a little more powerful than the rest of the friends, but he has the big drawback of not being able to use more than one item.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you've successfully avoided being excused. So it's totally up to you. You're going to finish the fight. You succeeded at. You haven't swung yet, have you?
I haven't swung yet. I'm dual wielding the pocket knife and the hammer, but I'm gonna strike with the hammer. That seems to be working. So what do I roll for that?
So you're going to roll strong, and then you're going to add an extra strong die because you're using that hammer. So whatever your 4 strong dice is, +1.
Plus 2 extra dice for the action chain.
Oh, yes, of course.
Extra?
You guys have had a successful action chain, so that's... Yeah, this is the 3rd person, right?
Yep.
Yep. So that's 2 extra dice on top. God, there's no way you're missing.
Okay, so I'm rolling.
Oh, this poor mermaid.
2 core +1, and then another 2. I'm rolling 5.
That's right. That's 5.
Now I got a math. All right, 2, 3, 7, 12.
Oh yeah, you beat her. You beat her. I rolled a 1 on the 1 die I'm rolling. So
I got a 2 1s, and 2 4s.
So congratulations. Describe how you've murdered this mermaid.
I hit her so hard in the jaw that I broke her neck.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys hear a snap and then a thud.
Did
as
I
she
go too
hits the
far? Did
ground.
I go too far for the children's game?
Yeah,
Head's still attached.
she hits the ground pretty hard, and you can sort of see, like, from her mouth, sort of a little spirit kind of wiggles out and then starts floating upward.
Oh no, that's her ghost. or something. Oh no.
I'm gonna be very Canadian and be like, sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
But congratulations, you defeated your first monster.
Ooh, how many coins do we get for that?
You
is
gotta
there
go.
a song
Get
that
those coins.
plays?
Say that again.
Is there a song? Da, 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 da,
Da, da,
da.
There is now.
We gotta go to the studio and record that.
Yep.
Anybody play any instruments?
Yeah, that's a skill. Yeah.
I feel super bad about hurting this mermaid, but at the same time, I also feel kind of excited and like we really accomplished something.
And
I just committed my first murder.
Ella's still crying, and she goes, "Where's Cindy? Did the mermaid hurt Cindy?
Did she eat her? Is she inside the mermaid?
Oh my gosh, no!"
I got a
Don't
pocket
feel
knife
bad.
and Mary has
He
a
was a
dagger.
jerkface.
Let's cut it open. Find out.
Out of character, though, you guys never threw it to me. I actually have some tricks. I'm good when I'm crying.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
I'm
you
good
never
at fighting when
can.
I'm crying.
Yeah, you guys happen to roll really well, and I rolled really poorly.
That was cool. No, I like the mechanics that you provided. It's got some cool stuff to it.
Yeah, and this is, of course, the simplest version of this because as you expand and you get your heroic job, all of a sudden you have all these other tricks you can do, and each heroic job fights in a slightly different way and wants to do different things.
Well, I want to play try it again with a little more advancement later on. This looks really cool. I'm really excited.
What I like is that it's like a Narnia type story, but with the skepticism of kids from today.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
You know,
like you all have this arrogant feeling of like, I've played a video game, I know how this works, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I don't like that feeling. This isn't like it is in video games.
As it continues, you probably start thinking that some of these game developers may have visited this world too,
Right?
Or comic book writers.
or comic book writers,
Right.
And you start realizing some things like the first time one of you dies and you just become a ghost and then you can come back to life. There's sort of, that's sort of changing your perspective on this and kind of treats it almost more like a video game, right? Because death is completely off the table in this. Like, if you die, you're a ghost. You can do ghost stuff. You can go find some ghost loot. Go have ghost adventures. But at any time, you can be like, I want to be alive again. And so you can pop back into existence.
Because
It's
it's keeping it
special
kid
level in
friendly.
Mario.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're keeping it kids friendly, so you don't want to have to deal with death.
Yeah, we also didn't want to have a situation where like a character dies and you're like, well, now we don't have a way to bring another character into the game.
Yeah, you're all trapped and you all have to play these children. So
Yeah.
More of the threat of the game comes into the fact that if a friend turns 13 while they're in Yeld, they turn into a monster.
Oh.
So the threat of the game is more about the fight against time of collecting these keys you need to open a door back home than it is about dying there.
And we're all getting older as we go. For example, Preston is 11 already, and we've already spent a day in Yeld, and Yeld only has a 100-day year. So very, very quickly as your adventures happen and as you travel around, the clock starts ticking, the days go by, and all of a sudden you start growing tentacles out of your back or horns out of your head.
I hate puberty.
Yeah, no. It's a very heavy-handed metaphor for puberty.
I remember when I grew my first tentacle. Oh,
Yeah. And you were like super proud of it, and you were like kind of showing it off.
My first horn. That was an amazing time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, let's take a few minutes here. I want to run to the bathroom, and then we can continue on.
Sure.
Okay.
Unlike a plan.
Coffee
I'll be back in
refill.
a sec.
Sounds good. Whoever's staying, we can talk. So
Yeah. So, Yeah, normally, when you have a fight like this, you're going to have more than one monster available. So the monsters are going to be taking actions back and forth and interrupting people
And
stuff like
chaining
that.
back and forth. Yeah. That's
Exactly,
cool.
and using their special dice and their weapons. But we always like to start off with like a very simple fight, just to show people how the action chain works and how passing the actions back and forth works.
Yeah, I really like that because that's actually got more depth to that than some other games like Marvel Heroic by the Margaret Weiss one.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, because it's got a similar mechanic on that, but there's you add to the, well, what is the benefit of passing? And but I mean, there's built-in benefit in that one as well, but people may not necessarily see it. And so to help kids see a more obvious benefit on the tactical nature
Right.
of it, you have that added bonus, which is nice, and they can teach kids to look at things tactically a little more. I
Yeah.
like that. And even for adults, because sometimes I'm like, when I'm playing Marvel Heroic, I'm like, oh my gosh, no, that is not who you should have passed to. That is not.
Yeah, I also think it really helps people stay involved, and especially younger people who, I mean, I think we've all had the experience of sitting down to play Dungeons and Dragons and getting into a long combat where it's
Mhm.
not your turn and you're not doing anything, which, Dungeons and Dragons is great, but having a game where you're not just waiting for your initiative, but you actually have the chance to interrupt and stuff is,
Well,
actions are being passed to you to use.
yeah, and you're rooting. You're like, don't fail, don't fail, don't fail. I want that extra die.
Yeah, exactly. And that becomes such a huge deal. And you start looking for ways to support people. Even after you become a ghost, you can still do things to make sure you carry on the action chain and to help each other out. So we're very much part of our design here is making sure that you're never stuck with nothing to do. You always have options. You always have neat ways to interact.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
Welcome back.
is there a cost to excuse me?
So there's no cost to use the skill, and you can always, it's something everybody can do. If you
Mhm.
have excuse me special dice, that adds a bonus to it. Like for example, the dog squeeze toy. Excuse me special dice are either something you buy using your reward dice, and reward dice are something you earn at the end of every adventure, or you can buy items like the squeaky toy, for example, that has excuse me dice on it, or you might buy like a sword that has excuse me dice or something like that, and then that would cost coins, or you'd get it as a treasure. So as you go, much like buying skills or feats or stuff like that in other games, you're going to be upgrading your character by buying special dice or receiving treasure.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Yeah. And you only receive so many special dice throughout your adventures. Usually you get about one every 2 games. So you only have so many choices throughout the course of your games. If you play like a 20 game adventure, for example, which would be, 20 sessions, you might receive 10 or 12 special dice over that time. So you really have to decide where you're going to spend those dice and what you're going to get.
Are they expended specifically, or do they just get allotted to a stat and then just stay there?
Well, we call them special dice because we like referring to everything as dice. So we have special dice and core dice and monster dice, etc. But really, it's a skill that you can use over and over and over again. So once you buy a excuse me special dice or a steal special dice or a break special dice, you have it, and your character can keep using it forever whenever the situation comes up. So, for example, if I have the steal special dice, anytime I want to steal, I'm going to add that die to my break dice and go ahead and roll that.
Now, is that separate from
Very
the job
cool.
that you get, or is the job that you take, does that take some of those dice to buy?
No, actually, when you take a job, you select a job after your first few adventures, and that is independent of special dice. And in fact, when you take a job, not only does it give you a few special dice, but it also has a special list of special dice that you can only get if you have that job. For example, the witch hunter has a special job about hunting down witches and investigating crimes. Or the witch hunter has a bunch of special dice about hunting down witches and investigating crimes and setting things on fire. Whereas like the black mage and the white mage have a bunch of special dice that only they can get that are about casting spells or making sacrifices or summoning monsters. In addition to that, there are advanced jobs, which are like the prestige jobs from Dungeons and Dragons. Which
Now, is that where the tax collector is? Is one of
Yeah.
those advanced jobs?
The tax collector is an advanced job, and after you've played the game for a while, you can spend reward dice, which are the same things that you use to buy special dice, to instead buy an advanced job.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
By the way, I have already put the drive-through RPG link for this game
Oh,
in
great.
the description of the video, and I've also put your Modest Medusa comic website in the description of this video. So when
Oh,
people
thank you
watch
so
it,
much.
you're very welcome. And that information will be transferred when the audio rip is done. Is
Awesome.
Nick back as well now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Good to go. So yeah, let's push on forward here. You've defeated the mermaid. She's slumped down. Her little ghost escapes her and floats up towards the ceiling. The trauma of the situation is slowly, sinking in. And you see that next to her, where she was leaning against the barrels in the cave, there's a hand scribbled note. She seems to have been writing something down at the last minute.
What does it say? Can we read Mermaid?
You can.
Okay.
It makes sense. You read it. It says, the others left me here. Cindy got me pretty good, but they captured her. They're taking her to the Lake Town sewer base, and leader Desi will deal with her there.
Wow.
How does mermaid taste?
You're gonna take a chunk.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm gonna smell it first, but that's food, right?
It smells a lot like fish.
I love fish.
Here's a mermaid.
I'm going to go ahead and start eating some of it, and I look over. I look over at Ella, and I'm like, "You really got to try some of this. It's excellent."
It's like this amazing combination between like fish and ham.
No, thank you.
Ooh. I don't know how that would taste.
Oh, I am definitely going to throw up all over this mermaid's tail. Oh, no. Blueberries just
Are you adding
everywhere.
seasoning? It doesn't need any.
We should take the mermaid back to the ferry and ask where to find this place that they took Cindy, and tell the ferry that we successfully killed the mermaid, and I don't want to be a mermaid anymore.
I don't think you should be, because Sassafras would eat you.
But we should take it back and show the ferry that we did it, and find out where they took Cindy. Maybe the ferry knows where this place is.
That's a good idea. How do we carry the mermaid back?
How big's the mermaid again?
She's not huge. She's like 5'4", maybe. She's
Preston's strong. I bet Preston can do it.
It might take a couple of you, but you could probably drag the mermaid.
Awesome.
Well, if we all work together, I'll carry most of the weight. But if you guys could help me out, that'd be great.
I'll help. I grab it by the fin.
Do I think he's telling me the truth? Is he going to take most of it?
We'll
just have to wait and see.
Between all of you, you can move it, no problem. You move her, and then as soon as you hit water, you realize that she floats, no problem, and you can just
she's great. We can use her as a raft.
Yeah.
Well, that actually makes swimming so much easier. We should have had a mermaid from the beginning.
Maybe we keep the mermaid and use her as a raft.
Just from body of water to body of water.
But she's
dead. We all got to get paid.
Come on. She's going to be our soup, remember?
Yeah, you guys make your way back to the ferry shack.
Like sushi that tastes like bacon.
Yeah, bacon sushi. Ramen comes out of his shack and goes, "Oh, you did it! Oh, congratulations!" And he claps for you. He's very happy.
But we didn't find our friend.
Mr. Ferry?
Yeah.
They took our friend somewhere, and they left us a note.
Oh.
Who knew mermaids could write?
Oh, and can we have our soup now? I'm really, really hungry.
Yeah, you guys can have some soup. Yeah, you see that he's been doing some cooking. He ladles out some soup in cups for each of you and gives you some soup. Go ahead and each of you write down that you have some soup.
Awesome.
Okay. And
my food collection keeps building. I've got extra food. I've got candy. I've got berries.
Oh, Ella is definitely our quartermaster here as far as
because you have the hungry special die. Let me tell you what that does. Normally, each friend can hold a single food item. Hungry lets you hold an extra one as well.
Yeah,
and that becomes very useful later on.
Specifically, this is a hearty soup, and how it's going to work is that before you would make a roll, you can eat that soup, and it's going to provide a certain die. So in this case, this soup is going to give you an extra tough die.
Okay.
So if you're in a situation where somebody's about to hit you with like an attack, and you would have to roll your tough die against them, you can eat the soup really quick and roll an extra die for that roll. But only that one roll.
It's like Final Fantasy that you're like in the boss fight and you pause and then you just plow through all the soup and such.
Yep.
So
it's only good for one action.
It's
not
a single roll.
Thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So the candy and the berries aren't giving a bonus, right? So I'm carrying them.
The berries aren't doing anything mechanically. The candy will if you want to eat it, but I just haven't told you what it does. You'll have to wait it out.
Sure thing. So I have my 2 foods then. I have my candy and my soup.
Yep.
Cool.
Ramen, he hands out the soups. He walks back into his shack, comes back out. He's like, okay, so here's the deal. I can either give you each some coins, or I can supply you with some more tools.
What kind of tools? Like hammers?
Well, I've already given you the hammers.
Yeah, but like more hammers.
No.
Oh.
What I have is he goes back in. He's like, I have this trusty old shield. If anybody would like a shield, I have this rusty old harpoon that can be thrown pretty far. And he reaches back again. I have this dusty old spell book that might have some spells left in it.
Oh.
Spells.
So
I like magic. I like magic. I like magic. I like magic.
I guess Ella gets the book.
Could we strap the shield on, like tie it onto the side of the dog for to give the shield bonus?
I say you could wear it as armor, sure. Otherwise, people have to hold it in their hand.
I can totally see that on the dog's back. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
He looks over to Preston with his rusty harpoon, and he kind of goes, "Hey, you want the rusty harpoon?
Yeah, I'll take
how about you, Mary?
I'll take the rusty harpoon.
I would like to keep this dagger that I have and this awesome hammer.
Oh, you want the hammer, huh?
Yeah, I want to keep the hammer.
Fine, you can keep the hammer.
Can I keep my hammer too? Can I keep my hammer too?
No, you get the spell book.
But the spell book goes with the hammer. Matching set.
You bring me another mermaid, and you can have that hammer.
Okay. So we can use the hammer while we get the mermaid, right?
Yeah, of course.
And you're right. Mermaids are mean. They're awful.
I know they're terrible people.
I know. I used to want to be a mermaid, and Mommy was going to let me have a mermaid party. But now I don't want mermaid anymore. I want a fairy party.
Yeah,
she was a mermaid for Halloween.
What?
She made me. She got into the Red Rider wagon, and she made me pull her around all the houses.
That sounds terrible.
Well, I thought mermaids were nice then, but now I'm going to be a fairy. Fairies are nice. Fairies give us cool stuff.
So let's go ahead and write down what you guys got here. So that harpoon, it adds +1 strong when you use it, but you can also use it from far away. You can throw it. So there's some mechanics for that. The shield is going to give you an armor dice, which means you roll that anytime you would be defending. Okay. And that spell book has 2 spells. It has the Fire Hat spell, which is a black spell, and the Refresh white spell.
Refresh white spell. Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to be a red mage so far.
Yeah, pretty much. So
you'll be able to cast each of those a couple times. I think it was. Let's see.
I think it's twice.
Per day.
Yeah, 2 each.
Per day.
Per adventure.
Okay.
So in this adventure, you could cast each of them twice, and this is successful cast. Not if you fail it. It doesn't count.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Refresh will allow you to restore a core die to anybody you cast it on, including yourself. So it's a healing spell. Fire Hat allows you to set a monster's head on fire.
Ooh. Which is great until I turn 13 and turn into one.
Right. Then you get a cool Fire Hat. So it's a win-win.
Fire Hat.
So
so hot.
hearing the spell names and such, I just have to wonder when's the collectible card game coming out. You know.
I mean,
Honestly, that's been something I've been working on for a couple years. So,
and actually, I actually went to the book and pulled out the spells already.
great.
So
excellent.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so he gives you guys some soup. You guys sit around. He tells you, so Lake Town is just a little bit farther north, and it's a big bustling town. It's the local town in the area where most of the non-animal people live, but even some of the animals live there too.
Like the mermaids?
Well, I was talking about, the squirrels and the raccoons. Those are the ones that usually don't live there. But yeah, mermaids live in town. I mean, the ones that aren't jerks.
Oh, so not all mermaids are jerks.
Well, I mean, that can be said about anybody, right? Not all fairies are cool dudes like me.
Oh man, Mary just learned a lesson about racism, I think.
Oh, not every mermaid's bad. So I could still be a mermaid. I could still make friends with mermaids.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure you can find a friendly name, mermaid somewhere. In fact, Lake Town's last mayor was a mermaid, and she did a great job. Everybody liked her, and then she got squished by a bear. So.
But not squirrels or seagulls. They're awful. I need to get them.
Well, I mean, I've certainly never met a squirrel I would actually want to spend time with. They're always threatening people with knives. Tiny, tiny knives.
You don't mess with the squirrels, Morty.
I am now picturing the squirrels as the Animaniacs mafia of the pigeons.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or the squirrels I'm picturing them as the squirrels from Rick and Morty.
I have never seen Rick and Morty, so.
Oh, Brandon, you would love it.
So like a third season episode.
How far away is Lake Town?
Oh, it's not too far. It was probably the same walk you guys took from that door that Cindy came from.
God, why is everything so far away?
It's a 20-minute walk.
Do you have a car?
Do I have a what?
A car.
I don't know what that is.
Mary, can you drive?
Does your mom have a car?
Are you old enough to drive?
Of course he's old enough. He's like 40.
I am not 40.
How old are you?
I'm like 25.
He's like 25. He's like a grandpa.
Oh, you're old.
Yeah, look at him, so hairy.
Thanks, Mermaid Hunter.
You're welcome.
Masters of tact.
I know, right? We're so smart.
Yeah, we are the masters of attacks.
All right. Bring me corpses. Bring me some mermaid corpses. And I can pay you, and then you can be on your way, and we'll all be happy.
The nice mermaids too?
No, you only the ones that are bad.
Okay, only bad mermaids. How can we tell if they're bad mermaids? Do they all wear same clothes? Do they have tattoos?
No. The way you can tell if they're bad is if we outnumber them.
Okay. I don't think that's right, Sassy.
I think
I wasn't born yesterday. I was born 1, 2.
Oh, we're gonna be here forever.
I think they're in the sewer. I think they said they're hiding in the sewer to stab people.
Sewer. Okay, we'll go get the bad mermaids in the sewers. But we have to go find our friend Cindy first. She's a mermaid hunter too, and she's in danger.
But didn't they take her to the sewers? Isn't that what the note said?
Is that what the note said?
I think that's what the note. I didn't actually read it.
That is, in fact, what the note said.
Oh,
that
well,
she's been kidnapped by the mermaids, and they have taken her to the Lake Town sewers.
Let's
like,
go.
hey guys, we can find Cindy and get more money.
Awesome.
Why do you guys like that piece of paper so much?
Oh, it's it has words on it. It's like a note.
Oh, somebody peed on it.
Yeah.
We should
keep Sassy away from the note.
I've got some things to write down.
I'm gonna start walking. Come on, Sassy.
Handwriting's atrocious, Sassy.
Yeah, you guys
Sassy
head towards
berries?
town.
As we leave, I'm gonna find a tree to leave a note on.
Yeah, you leave a nice streamy note there. You'll recognize it later.
Wait till winter. You
Um,
can leave it in the snow.
That's right. Yeah, so you guys make your way towards town. Again, it's another 20-minute walk. You run into a couple animals again. They give you another spider comes up, he's talking about watches, trying to sell you some.
What's a watch?
You see him, he puts down one of his arms and then pulls up like an imaginary sleeve to show off
Does
that
the
he's got like
spider
12
have any-
watches across one of his arms.
Does the spider have any pocket watches?
Like pocket watches. I got
Yeah.
these wrist watches. I don't really have wrists though. So arm watches, I don't know.
But why do you need so many watches?
Because
Who buys the watches?
time is the most valuable resource in Yeld.
Okay.
I'll get one of those watches. How much?
Why? Why is time the most valuable resource in Yeld?
Well, I mean, nobody can get enough of it, right? We all need it.
Does the watch give you any more?
I've got like 12 times right here. Look at this. I got all the time.
12 times watches is like a math problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me get my calculator out.
How much are the watches?
I mean, some coins.
We don't have any.
Yeah, but how many?
We don't
Didn't we
have
get coins?
coins.
We got we
No.
didn't get any coins from the ferry.
Well, then I'm not doing business with you, and he takes off.
Dang it. Spiders are jerks.
They seem to be. That's what you've learned.
Yeah.
But you guys reach this town. You come up on it, and it's very clear that it's a town. It's got a small wall running across it. There's 30 buildings within the walls. Outside of the walls, there's a little bit of farmland, and you can see some more of those big fairy dudes, working the fields, and a few humanoid-looking people who look a lot like you, but they have pointy ears.
Oh, like Zelda's.
Is it
like
kind of?
Zelda,
Does it
yeah.
look like a fantasy medieval type thing?
Yeah, it's fairly medieval, of sort of a fantasy town, sort of a fantasy farmland around it. Very, very, reminiscent of video games you've played or comics you've read.
Awesome.
This is just like the town in Zelda.
As we pass by the ferries, I'm gonna greet them. I'm like, hey Kibble, hey Purina, how you doing? How you doing? Naming them after food that I know.
They give you weird looks and then shrug and go back to their work.
You're gonna name one of them Meow Mix because you'd like to get into the cat food.
Meow mix.
Yep.
Meow mix. Meow mix.
'Cause you're a bad dog sometimes.
I'll go up to one of them. I'll be like, meow 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 meow.
And we're gonna lose 20 subscribers right now. But we're gonna gain 30 because
So where is the sewer? Do you think? Is it
upon reaching the front gates, you guys are met by a couple of guards who wave at you and say, "Halt! What's your business here in Lake Town?"
Oh, we're mermaid hunters.
Oh, Mermaid! You must have been hired by Ramen.
I was gonna lie and say we're from sanitation.
Yeah. We're here to save our friend Cindy and the sewers who were taken by mermaids.
Is that where those mermaids are hiding? They're hiding in the sewers?
That's what
Word we got.
said.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
We're mermaid hunters, so we know where they hide. Right, Mary?
Yeah, we already killed this many mermaids, and she holds up one finger.
More mermaids than I've killed.
Mermaid.
So take us to your sewers, I guess.
I'm sure, yeah. He leads you into town. He seems pretty he seems to be fanboying out about meeting some mermaid hunters. He's like, I wanted to be a mermaid hunter myself, but I could just never make it work out.
Did
And
you take
also
an
for a
arrow to the
while-
knee?
Oh, I was just gonna say that, Brandon. You beat me by a millisecond.
Well, I was dating a mermaid for a while, and I was telling her how I wanted to be a mermaid hunter, and she sort of explained to me why that's probably not a good idea.
Preston makes an off-color joke. Did she have nice gills? And he laughs to himself.
She had very nice skills, and he gives you a fist bump.
Heyo, he knows what's up.
As you guys enter town, you see that it's got a couple of streets. In the center of town, there's a big town hall. Otherwise, it's a few small businesses and mainly just residential stuff. As you guys walk into town, he's like, here's the inn, that's town hall, there's the local merchant, and he points down, he's like, and here's the sewer entrance in the main town. And you see the little...
Mommy taught me how to do this. I take the smartphone she gave me and I turn on the VR thing on Yelp, and so it starts to pop up what each thing is. You know what I'm talking about, guys?
As soon as you pull out your phone, you realize that it doesn't turn on.
No, I need to call Mommy.
Oh no, is my phone broken too? I'll pull out my phone and
Mary, I can't.
Yeah, you all
call
notice
Mommy.
very quickly. Your phones don't even turn on. They don't seem to power up or anything.
I can't call Mommy.
I wag my tail excited about this. I'm like, yes, those stupid boxes they pay attention to instead of me are broken.
No,
We need
it's
to
not
get some
working.
torches or something.
I can't call Mommy.
oh, Preston, we're gonna get in so much trouble.
Mommy's gonna be so worried. She's never
I don't
gonna
know.
let me go out on another sleepover ever again. She said she'd call me every.
Guys, calm down. That's future us problem. Right now, we need to find Cindy. First and next, we need to find some sort of light source, because I'm sure it's dark in there in the sewer.
Sewers
Can
are
we buy
where-
a flashlight anywhere, mister?
Flashlight. I mean, you guys can borrow my torch.
Awesome, I don't have to steal one.
torches are what
What's
they
a torch?
call flashlights in Doctor Who.
What's a torch?
Yeah, he pulls out from from behind his back. He's got a wooden stick with some cloth wrapped on the end, and he puts it on the ground and sparks it with some rocks, and you see that it lights up. He's like, "This is a torch, and I'm going to give it to someone who doesn't ask a question like that." And he hands it to somebody else.
What is the
Preston's
guard
gonna
look like,
take the
by
torch. Mary, you want the torch, or are you carrying too much stuff?
I'm the baby in.
I will take the torch. Yeah, I will have a torch and a hammer.
No, Mary needs to hold my hand.
Oh, all right. I'll put the hammer. I'll tuck the hammer under my back or in my belt or something. I have
Thank
decided
you,
the hammer
Mary.
has a strap that goes over my shoulder.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
You can, of course, you can carry more stuff. It's just about what's in your hands at the time.
Maybe it's
You
like
have
Nor. You can just leave it there, and then when you need it, you just raise your hand out, and it comes to you.
Right.
So I have a question. The just remember line. Do we actually get any bonuses out of it?
It's just a role-playing aid.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And of course, at the end of a game, you might argue, hey, I should be the one who gets a special die because I did the most role-playing within my character type or something like that.
Oh,
But, it's also 100% okay to just share that out and split it evenly.
okay.
But yeah, it's sort of just an aid to kind of get you going and sort of help you form a character. Because, of course, a big part of the game is sort of overcoming these sort of childish archetypes.
Mhm.
As you grow and you get your job and you have to become heroes, you start sort of losing these bad behaviors because each one sort of represents a potentially negative behavior.
Mhm.
So yeah, over time it kind of changes, but otherwise it's a playing aid, just a role playing aid.
And when you take on a job, you'll get a different just remember that you can either replace this one with or add to it.
Cool.
It's
So
just-
it basically is just a complication written into the system.
yeah,
A complication for the character. Cool.
exactly.
Yeah,
Well, I'm playing to my complication a lot. I won't let Mary let go of my hand.
Alex,
No, that's
Alex,
100% okay.
after I
That's how
get
it
a
should be.
job, I won't protect you anymore. That's what I'm hearing.
No, you have to protect me.
Sassy's my dog now. Look at me.
All right.
So yeah, into the sewers you go.
Okay. It smells bad.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It stinks like sewers down there.
I think this is where poop comes from.
It's exactly how you think it would smell.
Oh, this is
No. This is where poop goes.
This smells really, really bad.
why don't they clean their sewers?
Yeah, you guys come down into a tunnel. You're on one side of it, which has a platform running the length of the tunnel, and then on the other side is a stream of water.
I
And,
think what you meant was you're in one side.
Oh my lord.
But
Oh, do you think the mermaids live in this?
Maybe it's why they're jerks.
I would be a jerk too if I lived in pee.
I know, it's awful. Ew.
Maybe
Do
it's
we
not
have
as
to
bad
go
for
down
them.
there?
If we want to find Cindy, we do.
Oh, I don't think Sydney would come down here though.
But
Not on
she
her
was
own.
taken.
That's
They said
true.
they took her, so we
Oh.
have to go.
Those mermaids are jerks. As soon as I see one of those mermaids, I'm going to burn them with my torch.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm gonna be brave about this. It
Yeah,
smells
great.
awful.
Let's
All
go.
right.
Let's go. Come on.
All right, because you're being brave, I feel braver too. So I grab your hand and I put my torch out and I lead the way into the sewers.
Yay! Let's go. We're gonna
Excellent.
save
See-
Cindy.
You guys make your way through the sewers. There's a few twists and turns. There's more sewer here than there seems to be town to support it, so that's a little weird. Like maybe these sewers were from an older town that had fallen apart, and then they'd put a new town on top of it. So it seems to be sort of a little more ancient, a little different.
I think they just take really big poops.
That's also an explanation. But yeah, and you guys find your way into a larger room that has a big swirling pool of water that's going downward, and then two bridges that cross over the top of it. And then around the room in a circular way, you see there's another sort of circular bridge around it that leads to several different exits. One of them that you're coming from.
This is
In the center of the room on one of these bridges is you see Cindy, and she's tied to a chair.
Cindy.
I run to Cindy and hug her.
She sort of like comes to. It seems like she might have been unconscious, like they beat her up, but you quickly realize that she was just napping. And she kind of wakes up and she goes, "Oh, Ella? Oh, Mary, Preston, oh, you made it!
Are you okay?
Oh, I told you there was a place in my backyard."
Oh, we didn't believe you, but you were right. I thought you were a big liar like Preston, but you're not.
Ouch!
No, I'm
I'm
not.
right here.
What? I said you were big.
You're right, but then they took you to the sewers, and we need to get out of here. It smells
Oh,
really
yeah,
bad in
delicious.
here.
Wait, hold on. Wait, this is a trap. I forgot about that. This is totally a trap.
A trap? No.
Like a trap. As you say that, you hear splashing from the water below you, and two mermaids hop out of it and jump onto the bridge around you.
Oh,
One of them has a book and a
They
staff,
smell
and
like
the other
pee.
one, and the other one has a whip.
That one smells like poop.
Ella. Not to put too fine a point on it, but we all smell like that.
Oh, we're gonna have to go to the lake after.
Now,
The mermaid with the spell book and the staff speaks up, and she says, now that I have you, mermaid hunters, I'll finish you off, and then we'll take the town for ourselves. And she lets out a bit of a cackle.
I think she's the boss.
Oh,
I am the boss.
I'd like to do something.
All right, do it.
Fire
do it.
hat.
All right, so a combat has started.
Sure, I'm gonna fire hat the boss.
we're in fight.
So you were going first because you announced that you're going first.
Yes.
So go ahead. So you're going to go ahead and make a roll to cast this spell. Who do you want to target? You want to target
I want
Whip
to target the one
Mermaid
that
or
I want to target the boss.
Boss Mermaid? Okay.
Okay, so what do I roll?
So in this case, you're going to roll your smart dice.
Okay, I have.
So you have a piece of candy. If you eat that piece of candy, you get an extra die to a smart roll.
I will eat a piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh,
I think your
Easy there, James Woods.
difficulty for the spell Fire Hat is a challenge of 6. So as long as you roll 6 or more,
Okay,
you'll be able to get the spell to go off. And she is going to roll her smart dice against you. And if she can beat your roll, then she'll resist the spell.
okay, I have a question. I've got Cry. Roll with smart against attacks, a combat +1 die.
So how that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
that would that apply to spells in this case?
Not in this situation. So what that's
Okay,
going
no
to
problem.
that'll be just when you're being physically attacked. Like if she
Okay.
tries to cast a spell
That I
on you, you
just
can't.
instead of strength, I'll just use smart. Cool, and I'll get an extra die for it. Awesome. Then let's try this.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your smart.
I got 10.
She's going to roll her smart. She's got decent smart too because she's a caster. But she gets 8, so you succeed.
Liar, hat on fire.
Yeah, you see it's sort of a whoosh, and her whole hair just lights up. And she immediately feels it because she goes, "Oh no, my hair!" And she puts both of her hands on her head.
You better watch
so
it, Preston. I
she
say
rolls-
as she's saying, "Liar, head on fire."
I haven't said a lie the entire trip.
I will pass it to Sassy.
Or have you?
Sassy, get her.
Or have I?
So the effects of Fire Hat are that she will roll 1 less die for all of her actions for the rest of the fight. And also, the spell can it causes the fire effect. And how that works is that at the beginning of each of her turns, she's going to roll a die, and on a 6, she loses her action.
Ooh.
All right, so that's what fire does.
Now you know.
Now I know.
you know.
So I pass it over to Sassy, and I go, Sassy, get her!
Whip Mermaid goes, excuse me.
Okay.
So you're going to go ahead and roll your brave dice.
Now, when you're being interrupted by excuse me, you don't add the excuse me special dice.
Okay.
It's only when you're the one that's interrupted.
There is a special die called Stubborn, which lets you resist excuse me.
Cool.
Ooh.
I got a 6.
I got a 4.
Ah, all right.
You have
So the Whip Mermaid steps up and takes her action instead. She's going to, let's see. She's gonna whip Preston.
Whip it good. Yeah, definitely whip him good.
So yeah,
Right.
she snaps the whip a few times and then flicks it at Preston and goes to attack. She gets a 7.
Now, Preston, you'll want to roll your tough dice here.
Yeah.
Is there a way that I can jump in the way of the whip? Is there any ability to defend others?
There are, but we don't have it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. There's specific mechanics for it, but this early in the game when you're just kids, yeah.
Very cool. I like that
there is a special die
there's
called
actually...
tease that allows you to make people target you specifically.
Oh, that's a taunt. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, as if video games were involved.
Oh yeah.
That's
So yeah, go ahead and roll your tough dice.
Forgive me for being off camera. I am still here and listening and able to interact, though.
That's fine.
Totally. So that's Nick. Nick's rolling his tough dice here.
All right. Tough. So
Yep. So whatever your core tough dice is, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
I got the
I don't
soup.
think so.
Oh yeah, you can add the soup if you want.
I'm gonna add the soup.
Oh yeah, go ahead and eat your soup. Okay. All right. See what you get.
A 5, a 5, and a 3, a 13.
Ah, damn it.
Nice.
All right, yeah. So she sends out that whip, and you're able to just get right out of the way of it. It looks like she was trying to disarm you. Was her plan?
Mm-hmm.
And that's in fact what she was using. She was using the disarm special die to try and make you lose your weapon. But she notices that she misses and then backs up several feet. And then she says, "All right, Desi, finish him off." And she chooses her friend to go.
Oh, good.
So you're going to use excuse me?
Yeah.
All right. So I will roll my brave here. I got a 5.
All right. I'm gonna roll my brave, and I got a 6.
Nice.
All right. That's all you.
All right. So I'm gonna pull out my rusty harpoon.
Ew.
I'm going to aim at. What was the mermaid's name?
So there's Boss Mermaid, who's Desi, and then the other mermaid, who's just Whip Mermaid. You don't know her name. Boss Mermaid's pretty close. Whip Mermaid is far enough away that you would need to throw it.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it at Boss Mermaid.
Okay.
Do I get any type of advantage for the close range?
No, you're just basically making a basic attack in this situation. The benefits of the javelin, or not the javelin, but the harpoon, is that it can be thrown effectively.
Okay, and I use strong for that, right?
Yep. And you're gonna add your base strong, plus it's giving you 1 strong.
You can
Yeah, it
also
puts me at
use
2.
you can also use fight dirty here if you want to.
Ooh.
Yes, you could.
Okay.
Which would make her worst at casting spells and also make it harder for her to use excuse me.
Oh, and this is
nice.
the first attacking it. Oh yeah, okay. So I'll do fight dirty and drop the dice.
Yeah. And the other advantage of using things like Fight Dirty, which don't necessarily deal tough damage, is that you're getting extra dice for it too. So it just makes it easier to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of the 2, I roll a 3. Let's see here. A 2, a 4, and a 2. So that is 8.
All right. And because her head's on fire, she's rolling less dice. And you got her.
Yay! That hat on
All
fire
right.
seems to be helping.
So
The best I've rolled in 6 months. I'm the man.
So what does your fight dirty look like?
We're in a sewer, so and as gross it is, I scoop up
Oh no!
all this sludge and I sling it at her face, and it smacks her in the eye, and it gets all in her gills and her face. And it's
Oh.
just,
Nice.
That is so
And-
What parts of her head aren't on
adds to the
fire are now
fire.
covered in poop?
yeah, so
Ew.
now she's a flaming poop bag.
So yeah, she is down 1 smart die and 1 brave. Oh, this poor mermaid. Oh, and her head's on fire. Who would you like to go next?
Both Mary and Sassafras haven't gone yet, as well as the other mermaid,
Boss mermaid.
boss mermaid. Yeah, just so you know.
So Nick, it's your action. Your throw. You throw.
So you're choosing. You played, so you get to choose who goes next. The other thing we forgot is actually the action chain is currently going.
Yeah. So
Okay,
whoever
so
goes
even
next-
though they interrupted us, we with an action because we've succeeded, we're still on a chain.
Well, this is starting a new chain, is what it is.
Yeah.
Because the Whip Mermaid went, and then he just succeeded, so the action chain is now active.
yeah. So
Okay,
whoever
so-
goes next will get 1 extra.
We'll
die.
get 1 extra die.
Between
Yeah.
Mary and Sassy.
Or
Okay,
the enemy.
Yeah, and the
so
enemy
Sassy-
won't get that.
So
I'm not going to
yeah,
choose
so
enemy. Why would I give them an opportunity?
yeah, so you want to choose one of us so that we get the extra die right now.
Sassy, you're up, boy.
Okay, I'm gonna charge forward once again at the mermaid that's covered in poop and on fire. You know, just
All right,
like I
boss
like
mermaid.
them. And so I'm gonna rush forward and try and knock her down and bite her a bit.
Okay. So go ahead and make your strong roll.
Okay. I've got a 12.
Oh yeah, you got her. Just barely. The other part of this is the friends always win ties.
Mhm.
So that's another important part of it too. More than once here, I've rolled the same thing you guys have rolled. So
Cool.
that's how it goes. All right. So
We're
yeah,
super friends.
you go ahead and smack her pretty hard. And yeah, go ahead and describe that one. She's not dead yet, but she's definitely hurt.
So yeah, I run over, I jump up on top of her, I push her down, and am biting and nipping at her with my shield on my back, protecting me hopefully from that other mermaid. And
Thank you.
I am going to go ahead and pass it over to Mary.
Okay. Am I close enough to run up and hit the whip mermaid?
No, she is backed up, and you're going to have to spend your entire turn running up to her unless you have a ranged attack.
Oh, I do. Oh, I have a dagger.
You have a dagger. You don't.
All right.
It's not adding any extra strong dice, but you can throw it at her.
All right. Here's what I'm going to do. Is she wearing any armor?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna let go of Ella's hand, and I'm gonna pull out my dagger, and I'm accidentally gonna grab the wrong side of it, so it hurts a little bit, and I'm gonna throw it as hard as I can at that whip mermaid.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Now I have 2 strong dice normally, and I also get 2 dice from the action chain.
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
so
I
I'm gonna-
totally forgot my action chain dice.
Oh, well, that would have been even better.
Yeah. All right. Let's roll
So here
that.
comes my 4 dice. 11, 13.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what I got. 9, 10. Yep. Yeah, you got her.
Oh my
All
god!
right,
I didn't think that would work.
I mean, I'm just rolling really poorly here. Maybe it's these terrible dice.
Well, that was in character.
Wow.
Mary's very excited.
So make your description.
All right. Mary throws the dagger and she doesn't think it will work. And indeed, the blade doesn't hit the mermaid at all, but the handle whacks her right in the head.
Yeah, you see the mermaid. She flinches up. She's got both of her hands on her forehead. She's like, "Oh, that's gonna welt."
All right. I guess since there's nobody else to choose, I choose that mermaid, or I choose the boss mermaid to go next.
Boss mermaid. All right, so I got to roll for fire. Please don't fire. God damn it. All right, so I rolled a 6. So she is, you pass to her, and she just starts flailing. She's like, "I'm on fire! I'm covered in poop! I'm on fire!" And she runs towards her other friends, but cannot take an action this round. So both of them have sort of backed up into one of the corners. And I think we're back up to the top here with Ella.
Get her, girl.
Awesome. Yep. I am going to go and hit one of them with my hammer.
All right.
So the hammer only adds 1 to strong, right?
That's
So
right.
therefore, if I'm using my int, I will not get it. I'm still going to use my smart, though, and I'm going to cry.
Oh, actually,
You're just big, mean bullies!
let me explain that really quick, actually.
Sure.
Cry is actually a defensive die. So when somebody attacks you, instead of rolling your tough dice, you can roll your cry dice instead. And if they if you succeed, if you beat them, their attack still happens, but they attack whoever is closest to you instead.
Okay, well, my disarm is offensive, right?
Yes, it is.
Great. I will offensively disarm the whip out of her hand.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
I got a 9.
I got a 7. Oh, you disarmed her disarm tool.
And Alice, did you? Oh no, our chain was broken, right?
This is a new round, so
New
everything
round.
resets.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll have the chance to build a new chain now.
So we have a
So,
new chain. Mary's too far. Sassy's close. So Sassy, I'll pass it to you. Get him, Sassy. Get her, Sassy. She can't hit you anymore.
All right. I'm gonna continue on the one that I'm on top of. I'm gonna start bouncing up and down on her to just try and knock the wind out of her.
Okay.
And, nibble her fishy bits.
Ew. Nice.
I am 11, so I've done worse on 4 than I did on 3 just a moment ago. But
I got lucky. I got a 12. So yeah, she has evaded her way. She's wiggled her way out, and is pushed up against a wall.
She slaps me away with one of her meaty arms, and I yelp as I fly through the air.
All right, it's up to you. Who's next?
Well, we just lost, so why don't I go ahead and pass it over to the whip girl?
That's smart.
All right. Whip girl lacking her weapon. She. Let's see here. What do I got? I guess she's got that. Okay. You see her. She sort of raises her hands together. Some light appears between her hands. You see her whisper something, and then she goes, "Mermaid magic!" And from between her hands, a dagger appears. And she runs at, I guess it would be the dog since you're so close. And she tries to stab that dog. With a total of 6.
Okay, so I have 1 tough die.
That's
I'm
right.
assuming I'm rolling tough here.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
That's right.
but I also have 1 armor. What does that do?
So an armor die will add an extra dice to that tough roll.
Yep.
Okay.
You can also
go
put
ahead.
your soup right now if you really want to.
Yeah, I'm okay without that.
Wow, I'm actually the tank in this group.
You are.
I get 3 dice on tanking.
Yeah.
I have a 10 on my toughness.
All right. Yeah, she tries to stab you with a mermaid dagger, and she does not succeed. Yeah,
I
you've
get
definitely
3 dice base.
Yeah, she tries to swing at you. She hits the top of the shield and slides off of it. She is going to choose her friend to go.
Excuse me.
All right.
I only have 1 die. I got
me too. I got a 3.
Okay, never mind. What a rude mermaid.
Nick, you want to try and interrupt their chain?
Only one of us can.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And I probably should have kept my mouth shut because I think I'm the worst person to do that.
And they don't have a chain because I did successfully defend.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay, good.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
failed.
Okay, so the mermaid, she opens up her spell book, or actually, I need to roll for fire. I'm good. She opens up her spell book. She starts chanting, and she is going to cast the hurt spell if she can. So she's only getting a couple dice here. And she's going to cast it on Sassafras.
Okay.
So she's going to roll her dice. Let's see if I make it. I do. All right, cool. So I got a 9.
All right, and what am I rolling against?
So
that?
you would be rolling your smart dice against this.
Okay, I am not the smartest dog.
No.
I have a 3, so you've beaten me by 6. Is that just
All right.
1 die of damage?
So what this does is she casts her spell. You're going to lose a tough die from this.
Okay.
So you might be at 0 tough dice here.
I am now at 0 tough dice.
Woo!
All right. So yeah, you hear her. She casts a spell. She reaches out her hand, and like lightning from her fingertips come, and they shock the dog. And cartoonishly, you can see the dog's skeleton as the dog gets shocked, and then the dog hits the ground hard and is completely unconscious. Mechanically, how this works is that the dog is now dead.
You killed Sassy.
So you as the dog, you get hit by this lightning. The world goes completely bright, and then it just goes completely dark. And then all of a sudden, you kind of see yourself laying on the ground, and you're sort of floating above yourself.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll leave it there. So who's next? Who hasn't gone yet this turn?
I haven't gone yet.
Yeah, both Mary and Preston have not gone.
All right, then it'll be Preston.
Okay.
The mermaid cackles at the crispy corpse of your dog.
That's the boss mermaid?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to chuck the harpoon, the rusty harpoon of destiny at her.
All right.
So I'm going to roll my 2 die. And I got a 7.
All right.
If Preston has the rusty harpoon of destiny, does that make him the seeker of truth, and that's why he lies all the time?
That seems
interesting
very
backstory.
You get her with the harpoon, and this is going to kill her.
You kill her like Ella's dog.
Mermaid slaying.
So go ahead and describe that kill.
I reached back, and with all my might, my back foot planted firmly inside this sewer of poo. The energy charges from my heel up through my leg, in through my body, into my arm as I thrust forward and let the harpoon fly, and it makes this type sound, and then it goes boom right in her chest, killing her.
Oh yeah, she's pegged. She slams to the wall behind her, slumps down. The whip mermaid, who is now dagger mermaid, I guess, sees that and goes, "No, Desi!" And she starts crying.
You're next, sweetheart.
It looks like we're at about 12 o'clock here. So
Yes.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up. So yeah, other mermaid freaks out and then jumps into the water below, escaping the fight. But yeah, you're able to rescue Cindy here. She was still tied to the chair the entire fight.
And we are officially mermaid hunters.
That's right. You have succeeded as mermaid hunter.
And all it cost us was our dog.
And our dignity.
And our dignity.
Yeah.
And our cleanliness.
And our,
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You guys make it.
I do
you
heal
get back to. Yes, that's right. You have that healing. You can totally heal her. You use your magics to bring back the dog. The dog spent some time in the ghost world. Maybe met some other ghost dogs. Hung out for a while. And you guys made it back successfully. So awesome.
We rock.
Yes, well done. That is the end of our adventure.
Thank you guys so much for that. That's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. I really want to see the advancement and all.
Me too.
The way that you've talked about, the taunt and the tease, I think it was, and some of the other dice as you get jobs and all sounds awesome.
I think
The complexity of combat definitely comes in once you've received your job. Yeah.
Well,
There's
then we
a
should
lot.
definitely discuss more actual plays with you guys so you guys can show people more. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had a blast. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Well, this is already live on YouTube, and Mike will get it up on the Podbean pretty soon, okay?
Okay.
And thank you all for joining us for Bamf today. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bamf out.